Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the 2020 podcast, Canada's #1 optometry podcast. I am your host, Dr. Harbir Sian. Thank you so much, guys, as always, for taking the time to join me here to learn and to grow. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the sharing, liking, commenting, everything that you've done that's helped the podcast. And as always, I have a big request right off the top, which is if you get some value from this episode or if you have from others, please do share it. Send a link to a friend, put it up on LinkedIn, put a screenshot up on Instagram, wherever you put it. Let others know that we're having these conversations so we can help the podcast grow and continue to support our optometry community. This episode is going to be an Eye2Eye episode. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, then you know Eye2Eye episodes are one-on-one solo episodes just like this, just you and I having a conversation. They're usually a little bit shorter, somewhere between 8 to 20 minutes, something in that kind of range. And it's just my way of sharing some insights, some feelings, some lessons learned, whether it's personally or professionally. And I hope that in some way, by me imparting this information and this knowledge, that it might help you in your own world, personally, professionally, however. So this episode of Eye2Eye is called Be the Light. And yeah, it's kind of motivational if it sounds that way to you. That's kind of what I'm going for with this episode. But I've had this idea of be the light. And actually, before I even jump into it, it's funny with Eye2Eye, I'm always sharing, usually I'm sharing something, some kind of a story, some kind of experience that I've had in my personal life, and then a story that goes with it, and then the lesson that I've learned from it. And then again, of course, hopefully something that you're able to take and use. But I get laughed at by my friends all the time because I always have a story about something, and all my stories have multiple tangents that go in all these different directions and different layers. It's hardly ever just like a simple point A to point B type story. But I think that's probably what makes for a pretty good podcast host, and also probably makes for a decent Eye2Eye episode. And today's going to be another one of those type of stories with different layers and different tangents. So as always, I ask, stick with me through it, and hopefully by the end of the episode you'll get what I'm trying to say, you'll pick up what I'm putting down, and again, hopefully it'll be valuable for you. So this idea of be the light I've had in my mind for a while now, and then I have lots of different ideas for the podcast. I'll make a note or I'll keep it in the back of my mind for a future date. And recently some things happened that made it kind of come to the forefront a little bit more, and I thought maybe now's not a bad time to share it. One of which was literally I saw a sign. It's sometimes we're looking for signs to tell us to do things. And Pam and I, my wife and I, were driving back from something I'm going to explain to you in a second. And I saw not just a sign, a giant billboard, one of these digital billboards that the photo changes every 30 seconds or 5 seconds. I don't know how often it is. In any case, the sign literally said across the entire thing, "Be the light." And Be the Light was the exact title I had in my mind for this episode from a while back. It was an advertisement for a university. And it was a very simple image with the words "Be the Light." And I'm pretty sure that image and that advertisement was trying to convey the exact same message that I want to convey to you today, which I will get to you at some point shortly. But Be the Light. And I saw that sign and I thought, you know what, I think this is one I'm going to have to record now versus saving it for later. Now, what happened, not to start off on kind of a sad footing here, or in a dark way, but unfortunately there was a death in the family on my wife's side of the family, and it was a young person, roughly my age, young family, young kids. And so sad for so many different reasons. Of course, the passing of a loved one is always sad, but when there's young children left behind, that's always makes it a lot more difficult to kind of digest. And so we were at the funeral, and one of the loved ones was sharing a story about how they were explaining to the children that their father had passed. And the mother was saying, "Your dad was a hero. And, in all your hero movies, your action movies, the hero always has a mission that he has to complete. And your father completed his mission and now had to return back to God." And it was very sad, very poignant, very moving moment. But the story, it resonates with so many people. Of course, it would resonate with a child. They've seen movies with heroes and all this kind of thing. And for us as an adult, we see that as well. Each person, each of us has many missions that we need to accomplish. Maybe we have one huge, one large mission, the whole reason that we're on earth in the first place, and we're all looking for this, the reason for being, sometimes a sort of existential question that we all have about ourselves. But we also have lots of little missions. And I was sitting there and I kind of got lost in my thoughts about, in this moment, what would somebody in my shoes, what would be my mission? And it would probably be to console those who have lost their loved one and to be somebody that will help them through this moment. And that would be kind of I think, a pretty reasonable mission in that moment. But there's lots of other missions that we could be on. Maybe we don't even realize that we're on, but if we're a bit more conscious about it, we can realize that I could be serving a purpose as a hero in so many different ways. And I was thinking, in this moment, somebody who's lost a loved one could feel like they're going through a dark time, understandably. And we use the phrase, the light at the end of the tunnel. We're going through a dark time. The tunnel is the dark time, the difficult time. And when things start to turn around, when we start to feel a little better, we use the phrase that I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But sometimes you're really in the thick of it. And it doesn't have to be as deep as losing a loved one. It could be stress at work, it could be school, it could be family, it could be something else personally, internally that you're dealing with. But we use this phrase of, going through the tunnel and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But sometimes we're so in the thick of it that we cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. And we feel that it's dark and we're stuck. And as I was sitting there, I was thinking, rather than just talking about the light at the end of the tunnel, we could try to be the light in the middle of the tunnel for this person who's going through a difficult time. Again, whether it's somebody who's lost a loved one or just going through some personal struggles or difficulties at work or whatever it might be, we could be the light in the middle of the tunnel for them. And that could be our mission right now, one of our missions. And I just thought about that. If we were there to illuminate their path, if we could support them in whatever way possible, we might be able to help them get through this difficult time more quickly, or perhaps help them see that it's not as bad. As this tunnel gets illuminated, there's actually lots of great things around them that they just were not seeing because they kind of had tunnel vision at that moment. Perhaps we help them get through it a little sooner so they can see the light at the end of the tunnel, so they start to gain that momentum that they were striving for. And as I was thinking of this idea of be the light in the middle of the tunnel, I was thinking of this quote, which I'm sure many of us or all of us have heard before, and it's been attributed to different people. Um, Nelson Mandela is one of the people it's been attributed to over the years, but the author of the quote is Marianne Williamson. So I want to read this quote to you. This quote that came to me as I was having this thought about being the light. And we'll go on to what it means to be the light and how we can be the light for other people. So here's the quote. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people don't feel insecure in your presence. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not in just some of us, it is in every one. As we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. That is one of my all-time favorite quotes. It is powerful. I got goosebumps reading it to you right now. Again, I'm sure you've heard it, but if you haven't, I hope you feel as strongly about it as I do. Now, that is what I wanted to get to. That is actually the core message from this podcast about be the light, from this Eye2Eye episode. It is let your light shine as brightly as possible, because you will unconsciously, unknowingly help illuminate somebody else's path. You will unconsciously help someone else shine brighter so they can get through their difficult time, or so they can shed whatever skin or shell that they were in, so they can flourish and grow to fulfill their potential. So that is the message I really wanted to share to you, is to be the light, whether it is directly in person supporting somebody who you know is going through a difficult time. Be the light that will illuminate that tunnel for them so they can see their way through more easily. But also be the light. Don't hide. Don't be afraid of your potential. Fulfill, succeed, because by doing so, you might be helping countless other people that you've never met before, that you may never meet, that you may never be in contact with. You will help them fulfill their potential. You will help light their path and help them find the end of the tunnel so they can have that freedom that they're looking for. They can have that growth that they're looking for. So that's it for this Eye to Eye episode, guys. I want to say to you again, be the light, be the best that you can be. Get out there, do whatever it is you're wishing to do, hoping to do, planning to do it today. At least get started today. And I want you to share with me, if you can, share with me what you're doing. Share with me how you broke out of your shell, or if you found the light at the end of the tunnel, or if you feel like you helped illuminate somebody else's journey through their tunnel. Share it with me. Send me a message, DM me on Instagram at harbirsian.od. You can email me info@the2020podcast.com. Wherever you find me, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm all over the place. Shoot me a message. Let me know what you thought of this. Hopefully you found it valuable, guys. Be the light. Get out there. Do your best. Thanks again for listening to the 2020 podcast, Canada's #1 optometry podcast. I'll see you guys in the next episode.